it's red sky photography without red sky. We are in blue hour here in the moment and it looks really fantastic. Hi my friends, very nice to see you. Today I'm really excited because, you know, the lockdown in Austria got already eased. So this means I'm allowed again to go everywhere I want inside Austria, obviously because the borders are still closed. And so the first thing I did was I took a map of Austria and had a look and thought about where do I want to go. And the thing is, the more locations I found, the more I realized that the hotels are still closed, so I'm not really able to go everywhere I want. I'm still limited to my local area, but I'm not as limited as I was in my last videos where I was really around my house just a few kilometers. So I think there is nothing wrong with going to 1, 2, 3 hours from me. And the second thing I'm really happy about is I expect to get an amazing red sky tomorrow morning here in this area. And I'm here at the lake around a half hour from me. It's absolutely fantastic here. And yeah, this feels in the moment like Christmas, Easter and birthday all together. It's absolutely amazing. And so today I'm here for location scouting. I hope to find a nice location for getting a great photograph tomorrow morning. Hopefully. So let's go. So I found already a first possible composition. It's a simple one, but a simple composition doesn't mean that it will get a bad photograph. So the only thing I'm not 100% sure is my potential subject is this mountain back there. So I'm trying to get an interaction of the red sky, what is obviously not here in the moment, but what will be here tomorrow, an interaction between the red sky and the mountain face back there. And the tricky thing is you never know exactly how the red sky will appear. So how much of the sky will be red up there, and this depends on the clouds we will have tomorrow. And if it will come as it's predicted, we will have an amazing red sky. So it could be that really lots of clouds are up there which are illuminated from the bottom so that they get red from the red sun. It's not so difficult to predict red sky, to be honest. It's much more difficult to get your subject interacting with the red sky. And in this case, as already mentioned, I'm still a little bit limited here. I don't want to complain here. Obviously, I'm really happy that it is how it is, so that I'm able to go here. But usually I try to find a subject what really is outstanding and can amazingly interact with the red sky. And in this case, I'm not 100% sure. I think about getting a panorama photograph here, and maybe with a wide-angle lens. I'm not sure about this. I will think about it, because when I'm here in phase 1 of red sky has always 2 phases, and the first phase is in blue hour. And the problem obviously is that we have really long exposure times, and taking panels with long exposures and you have a little bit of wind and so on, it's usually not a good thing. So I think about this composition here, and it also depends on the clouds. And when I come along here tomorrow morning, I will have a look here again, and then I will make a decision. But I'm sure I will find some more possibilities, so let's go.
world that was my surroundings, my heart screamed out for more. It's the storm inside that's breaking my heart each morning while it keeps it going. It's been driving my life into both joy and sorrow, and there's still a long way to go.
I go down to the shore now more times just to have a look how it looks here and if it's possible to build up a really great composition. So the last composition I think was a little bit better, because here we have the problem that we have a house at the right there. I think it's a restaurant, something like this, I'm not sure. But when I really want to make a panel here, I have the problem that this is a distracting element at the right. So I think the last composition was the better one. By the way, predicting red sky is not that complicated. It's not so difficult. It's more difficult to get an interaction of a great subject interacting with the red sky. And usually I try to get a subject what builds up a great contrast to the red sky. And I fear that this area here will not be the best option we have here to get a red sky photograph, to be honest. Because this mountain face back there is really amazing, but I'm not sure how the red sky will look tomorrow. Could be that everything will be red up there. Could also be that we also have some fluffy clouds. It's predicted that we don't have fluffy clouds. It's predicted that we have everything red up there, but usually in this case, because it's a regional thing, we don't get red sky over entire Austria. It's only over this area here. So it's also not a 100% estimation, but I want to have more options tomorrow. So however the red sky will get, that I will be able to get a photograph here. What I'm struggling most here in the moment is to get depth into the photograph. I'm struggling with finding foreground elements. We are far away from that mountain back there, and I also want to get much sky into the frame. So I think I will tilt up to the sky, maybe. The only thing what could work were to get any reflection lines or something like this in the water, but we will have here anything like this. I think I will go more into that direction. I know we will get closer than to the mountain, and when we also want to have the reflection in our frame, it could get really tricky because we want also red sky up there. The only thing what I think in the moment is we have this gap back there of the mountain. Between these mountains there is a gap, and when we would get a really red sky up there, because I think the sun will be more in that direction, it could work. It could work that we get a balance of this amazing mountain face at the right and the red sky on the left. It could look really pretty good. But I want to go more into that direction now to get a possibility, hopefully, for reflection lines as leading elements. So let's try for it.
This is my story, raised in a small town, trying to burn out in glory. Yeah, I never quite grasped it, this world that was my surroundings. My heart screamed out for more. It's the storm inside that's breaking my heart each morning while it keeps it going. It's been driving my life into both joy and sorrow, and there's still a long way to go.
So I came down once more and I found these fantastic rocks here in the lake. They look really pretty good. The only problem here is that we have this rock back there at the end of this shoreline, and this doesn't really add to our composition, because when we think about tomorrow morning, where everything here will be in the shadow because the sun will be behind this mountain, so this would look really strange, I would say. So it's not really a possibility to get a really great photograph here. Also, our mountain is cut here at the right. I'm not 100% sure about this. Usually I don't have a problem to cut mountains, but yeah, I think also here, when we had a nice possibility to cut it, it could really add to the composition, because it would give us a nice balance to maybe red illuminated clouds at the left from the mountain in this gap what I mentioned before. But it's difficult here, to be honest. I hope, I saw in the maps that a little bit more back there is a little curve out, so that we're able to see a little bit more of the mountain right, and also a little bit more of the shoreline going back. I think this would also add to the composition, although the same here, we don't know if we get fluffy clouds, because we have really a bright moon tomorrow morning. So if we get fluffy clouds, it would be easier to get rid of the shadows here. But as I already mentioned, it's predicted that we will not have gaps tomorrow in the morning. It is predicted that we will have gaps during the day tomorrow, but in the morning we will have it overcasted here. It is predicted, but as I already mentioned, I think there is maybe a 30% chance that there will be gaps, and yeah, then everything will look a little bit different. So I will go further back into that direction and let's have a look there. I found fantastic rocks here in the lake. It's absolutely amazing. These are really strong lines here, what we usually could use as leading lines. But the only problem here, I will show you, let's go a little bit more out here. The only problem we have here is, same as before, we have the shoreline too close at our subject, at the mountain. And as already mentioned, everything will be dark at the right tomorrow. And also if it were not dark, it were too messy, too many distracting elements, too many distracting lines at the right, and we also wouldn't have the chance to balance the photograph. The only thing we could do, we could go really low here with the camera position, that we get a little bit of the rock here as balancing element to the right side, but as already mentioned, it doesn't really make sense to build up a composition here, as I'm not able to get the mountain in our frame how I want to have it. So same plan as before, I will go more into that direction, and hopefully we will find their composition with reflecting lines. First of all, we should find reflecting lines before we find the composition, obviously. But there's only one way to find out if there are some, so we will see. Also, it's the same day. I just got into my jacket because it's a little bit windy meanwhile. And this is also a problem, to be honest, here with our subject back there, the mountain, because the water is not calm enough, and so we don't get the reflection today. What's not the biggest problem, because I want to take the photograph tomorrow morning. But however, I'm not able in the moment to build up a composition here, because without reflection line it gets really difficult. So I checked the weather maps again, and I saw that the wind will stop at midnight. So I don't plan to stay here until midnight, to be honest, because I have to get out of the bed at 2:30. So it doesn't really make sense to stay to midnight here, just to get an idea because of the reflection. But however, I think that the reflection will come down here, and I think I will be able to use it. The only thing, when we should have no reflection tomorrow morning, I will make another composition without the reflection, without all too much water, just with the mountain face back there and the red sky. I would prefer to use the reflection if I have the choice, to be honest, because it's the only possibility here to get a little bit more plasticity into this photograph, to get a little bit more depth into the photograph. Usually I would come back tomorrow again when we have a calm water to check it again and come for the photograph one day after, but I'm not able to place a wish here, obviously. So, however, I'm so happy that I'm here, that I'm able to be here to take a photograph, that it doesn't matter for me. However, if I have the reflection tomorrow morning, it's fine. If I don't have it, I also will find any possibility tomorrow morning. The only thing what I'm not absolutely happy about it is that it were better to come here in 3 or 4 weeks maybe, because the sun will go up at this big mountain face there, and it were better when it would come up more at the left, so that we have the red sky more in the left. I fear that the red sky will be a little bit more at the right. But however, as already mentioned, I'm really happy that I'm able to be here for taking a photograph, and I'm so excited about it. So also, if the photograph wouldn't get great tomorrow, I wouldn't have a problem with that, to be honest. An advantage to build up the composition here for tomorrow morning is that we have the sun in the back. This means we don't see any texture, any structures on the mountain face. It looks really flat. And so this is also what we will have tomorrow in the morning, because the sun will be behind the mountain. We will see a little bit of texture, obviously, but it will not be the thing what will define the composition. The composition will be defined by the shapes of the mountain and the red sky, and also the reflection, if we would get it. We will see it. However, I will go home now and think a little bit about the composition, about the possibilities tomorrow morning. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. The only thing what I fear in the moment is, when I'm so excited like today, it could be that I will not sleep all too much this night. And as already mentioned, I will get out at 2:30. So if I look a little bit tired tomorrow morning, it's only because I'm tired. Very good morning. I hope you slept well. I didn't, to be honest. And not only because I was so excited yesterday, it is more because I wasn't able to make a decision about the spot, the composition I found yesterday. So I stumbled a little bit between the first and the last spot what I found yesterday. I'm not always able to look into the camera, because when I do this I can't see where I walk, to be honest. So sorry for that. But however, I checked the weather maps again yesterday evening, also tomorrow morning, and the problem is obviously that, yeah, the weather maps told me again that we will have amazing red sky. So it's a cloud bank of around 50 to 50 kilometers exactly over this area here. And when I drove here by car, I saw the moon and some stars, and this is not good. because this means, first I thought we will have just gaps, but meanwhile it looks after a really thin layer of clouds, and that's not good because we need the clouds for getting red sky. But however, the question is which of the spots is the better one, and I think from the compositional side the last spot has definitely more potential. I think also when we had the reflection there, and today it really looks fantastic for getting reflections in the lake because we don't have really wind, so it's really calm water. And I think that the last spot of yesterday is really fantastic, but I think it's not the right one for that what I want to do today, because yeah, we also have the moon here, but what I didn't consider is that we will have it from behind from us, so we will not have really texture on the mountains, not all too much, a little bit obviously. I think when we come away from the thoughts of red sky, unfortunately, the question is which of these two compositions would work. And I think the first spot would also work if we would have no clouds. And so I tend to think about setting up at the first spot, to be honest. But I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I will go to the first spot, think again, and then I will finally decide. But however, this is what landscape photography is all about. Seeing a chance, taking a chance, risking to fail. And sometimes you fail and sometimes you win, and that's so fantastic. So let's see what I can get today. So I'm here now at the spot, but not at the first one. I'm on the last spot. So I changed my decision because I thought maybe it could be possible to find an amazing composition here with the reflections in the lake and so on. And I also spotted some rocks yesterday, and I really found a fantastic composition here. The only thing, we definitely will not get red sky, so it's red sky photography without red sky. We are in blue hour here in the moment, and it looks really fantastic. I will take some exposures now. It's a little bit too dark for vlogging, to be honest. I will take some exposures and I will explain you the composition afterwards. So it got a little bit cold now, so I got into my wind jacket. So I'm not sure if you can see this back there, but we have one cloud back there, so we have a little bit of a red balancing cloud here. It's a great balance to the mountain at the right. The only thing is, it's already the end of the blue hour, so this is not really good because it's difficult because of the dynamic range. So we will get everything dark here on our mountain. We had a little bit more light on the mountain before because of the moon. So anyway, I will try to get an exposure now with this red cloud here, and we will see if it works. I have some ducks here. They're also awake meanwhile. I took some exposures now. It looks really fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that I came here. for the case that you hear a dog barking in the background. I think there is a family back there for wild camping. It's not allowed here in Austria, but I think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the moment when they would allow it. Because of this corona thing, you know, the huts everywhere up in the mountains are closed, and it looks after that they will stay closed over the whole year or to autumn, however, up to winter. So it really would be a nice thing if wild camping would get allowed here in Austria for this year. Could have a try. It also works in other countries, so, but it's not my decision. Other people have to decide. Anyway, let me explain you the composition. So, as already mentioned, let me turn on a little bit of light here, that you are able to see me. As already mentioned, I decided for the second spot because I think the reflection is really amazing here, and it was really amazing. I saw it already. So what I really find fantastic here, I found this rock here. I spotted it already yesterday. It helps me to anchor the image, as we have this gap here from the reflection of the gap up here between the mountains, and it balances also this gap a little bit. We have this amazing reflection of the mountain here on the right, this reflection line here around this rock. That's really fantastic. We have all these structures and textures on the mountain face back there, and the moon helped really a little bit, because this was also a reason for the decision to come here, because the moon really helped to get a little bit more light on the mountain, so that we get a little bit more texture up there. It looks really fantastic. I also decided to get a little bit of the shoreline here into my frame, because I think it adds to the story what it tells. It's really a fantastic place here. It's absolutely amazing, and I definitely will come back here at another time of the day and another time of the year, because I think when we would have light from the right illuminating our mountain, it will not work on sunrise or sunset. It will never come before the mountain. So I think it will be a few hours after sunrise. So maybe that we have illuminated the forest there, the trees there and so on, and maybe a little bit of the mountain face up there, so that we get a little bit of texture and structure up there. But for today, I'm really happy with the result. I think I will go home now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, please give it a thumb up. Share this video with your friends on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. It would really help me to grow this channel. And I also think that the people you will share the video with will also be really happy about that we will share it. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't have already. So thank you so much for watching. See you next Saturday. Thank you. Bye.
It's both joy and sorrow, and there's still a long way to go.